If you are a fan of the New York Jets, well, today you're glad that you are not a fan of the Cleveland Browns. Gang Green got an improbable win. They trailed by 13 but scored the final 14 points of the game against the Cleveland Browns in the final $1.55 of the contest. Joining me to talk some Jets football is the co-host of the Gangs All Here podcast, my guy, Jake Brown. Jake, great win for the Jets. How you doing today, man?
The Mets win, the Jets win, the Giants win, and heck, the Yankees won. And apparently it's the first time that's happened since 2009, the Obama presidency. So it's been a long time, a great day for New York. And my God, there were a lot of Jets fans that turned their TV off. They're still watching the highlights back because they're mad that they turned it off.
They should be mad that they turned it off. They missed a fantastic ending. And speaking of that ending, Jake, we rarely see the Jets win a game like this. So what was your reaction to this stunning comeback in Cleveland?
Jubilation. I mean, do you believe in miracles? Yes. We've seen the improbable. 30-17. You're thinking to yourself, all right, if some miracle does happen, at least the Browns missed this extra point. It's probably going to be meaningless. The only thing it's going to be meaningful for is a backdoor cover. All right, the Jets get the backdoor cover. They get this bomb of a touchdown. The defense breaks up. Corey Davis, touchdown, boom, 6-point game. Can they recover this onside kick? Braden Mann, who has a 20-yard punt last week, hurts his back. You know, they signed Ty Long. You didn't even know if Braden Mann's punting. Braden Mann punts. And Braden Mann at one point had the more passing yards than Joe Flacco. And then Braden Mann redeems himself for a bad week one with a perfect onside kick. And guy wasn't even on the roster last week. Will Parks recovers it. Everyone contributed. And then Garrett Wilson hurt all day. I mean, he hurt his back, had a great game, but he's hurt. Gets the second touchdown of the day. Garrett Wilson, just resilience. You thought he might be out for weeks. He comes back after hurting his lower back, makes the catch, and the Jets win by a point. Then you're just holding for dear breath for Greg the Leg to get the extra point. But absolute jubilation, absolutely a much needed win. You know, a lot less stressful now. If they did lose next week, you're 2 weeks away from getting Zach Wilson back. This was a statement win for Robert Saleh. We are keeping the receipts from this one.
Jets fans keeping the receipts. Speaking of keeping the receipts, got to talk about the receipts about the quarterback. Joe Flacco, 307 yards in this one, 4 TDs on the day, 0 picks, Jake. Last week, there was some fans chanting for Mike White. So does Flacco's performance quiet concerns about Gang Green's offense?
It definitely does, Dex, because there was times during this game I was like, just take him out, put Mike White in. What do you got to lose at this point? He was missing some throws, and you know, when he doesn't have time, he's in trouble. That fumble or the strip sack, he's got to just be aware that a guy's coming there, especially with the 2 defensive ends in Clowney and Garrett that the Browns have. He's got to be more aware. But guess what? He made the big throws when they needed them down the stretch. And Garrett Wilson, like I said, redeemed himself of that drop. You know, Flacco put it right in his hands. 3rd down, drop. Jets forced to punt. You thought that was the ending. But Flacco down the stretch made the throws he needed to. And he's going to start against the Bengals next week. He helped win them the football game. He threw for more than 300 yards. And while he had his frustrating moments, he couldn't get out of the pocket, despite he had one run for a first down. It, felt like life was moving very, very slowly when he ran for that first down, but he got it. So Joe Flacco's earned another start. He's going to be starting next week. And, I'm fine riding with him because this was a team effort. But without some of those big throws he made down the stretch, the Jets don't win this football game.
All right, great performance from Joe Flacco today. No more Mike White chance, at least for now. So with this win, Jake, what do you think a win like this can do for the Jets as they move forward this season?
This has got to spark them up. I mean, they got to be fired up after this. You leave Cleveland with a win when you look dead in the water. The Jets had a 99.9% chance of losing this game with 90 seconds to go, down 13 points. This was not supposed to happen. If you bet $1, you would have paid the mortgage off if you bet on the Jets down 13 points. So this was improbable. This has to spark them up. Going into, back home to MetLife Stadium, Joe Flacco's probably final start. You get Zach Wilson back. If you could sneak one out against the Bengals and you're 2-1 with Zach Wilson coming back against Pittsburgh when you go to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers, then who knows? This isn't going to be a playoff team, but the goal was to be in the graphic, in the playoff hunt in December. And if they could scratch wins out, like this, maybe not in a similar fashion like this, maybe a little less heart palpitations. This has got to pump them up. And maybe Robert Saleh, we all criticize the keeping receipts comments. Well, we'll keep receipts on our receipts. It's a lot of receipts. It's a lot of CVS trips. But, this has got to get them going. And hopefully they could scratch out a few more. I mean, this is still the Browns. We have to remember, though, this is the Browns. They beat the Browns with Jacoby Brissett in a game that was a toss-up. I know they weren't favored, but this is a game they could have won. They didn't win it easily. So let's put it in perspective. It is the Browns. They have tougher teams ahead, but a win is a win. It's the first win for this team in September of 4 years. So that's a very big deal, Dexter.
First win of the season for the Jets, are now 1-1 in the 2022 season. You can catch Jake Brown on the Gangs All Here podcast. Listen to that this week. There'll be more Jets talk there. Jake, thanks for joining me, man.
I'm all fired up. Get me an espresso, Dex.
I don't think you need one. I think you're good. A lot of Jets fans, I think they're good. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Dex.